Alrighty. We are live here, recording. If you're watching this video, this is our locals meeting, our fall staff candidate meeting here. So welcome to everybody. And then I know we're missing a few other people I have on my list here of other locals that are not here. Let's see. Let's see. I got Daniel, Matt P. should be watching this video. Stan Am, Dario, Ruby. Let's see. Juan, Eduardo. Got Toomey here. Josh Carvajal, Vera, Beto, Nicole Delgado, Mateo, Javier. We got some other locals here in the house too. So let me pull up my notes here. Let me have everyone come to the front row here quickly. Sorry that Jason's thought row quickly. So, how's everyone doing? Good. Well, this is exciting. I'm actually fired up to be able to run this meeting here. That's up. Dario's joining us here. Let me make sure I mute everyone here. I'm going to close this out and manage participants. Mute Dario here. Okay. So this is really, really exciting. I'm fired up to be able to run this meeting just because this meeting is ultimately the future of our Miami office, the future of what will be to come here for our office for the fall and for the spring, and ultimately what sets up the Metro Miami office summer of 2020. So you know, this is a fall staff candidates interest meeting, our locals meeting, and I got a couple objectives. Basically, I just want to tell you guys, you know, give you an idea of what's up for grabs here for you all in the fall, why our staff is so important here for the fall, what kind of roles are up for grabs, what it would look like, what it would consist of, as well as what you want to be doing here to finish off the summer. So, let's come in. Oh, nice. Cool. So all the food here. So looks like you guys are eating all the chicken minis. And also what you want to be doing here over the next couple of weeks to set yourself up if you're interested in an opportunity here. So first things first, let me maybe talk about what's up for grabs here. So number one, I can't tell you that, you know, in my mind, there's maybe no other better opportunity that you can have outside of being on staff in the fall and the spring. You know, if you want to get set up, if you want to really tee yourself up for TLA, for interviews, for setting yourself up for other advancement opportunities for next summer, you know, really starts with what happens this upcoming fall. It's an awesome opportunity for every single person here. I think this is what sets up. Number one, if you're in TLA, like it's just one thing to actually learn like the skill set and be in TLA. It's another thing to actually be involved in an office where you're actually able to train and learn and develop those skills. You get on Jeff's radar a little bit more here, being on as a part of my staff. You guys will have, you know, everyone in TLA I usually am talking to throughout the fall and spring, but you know, y'all, people on our staff are the people that I'm actually working with and talking to on a consistent basis here too. So it's an awesome opportunity. I'll talk about a little bit of what's up for grabs. I'll give you guys a little bit of like the level and the structure on how being on staff works, what it looks like, what's the time commitment like. Jonathan, can you stop walking around, man? Jonathan, can you put yourself in one room? Thanks. You know, the level of structure staff, and by the way, just so you guys know, the level and the structure of the staff kind of depends on the staff. So it depends who I have here, you know, what percentage you're making off the office, what people's roles are, what people are leading and doing. It kind of is different every single year. You know, one thing to know too is that like I'm not here, even though you guys get the most attention from me during the fall and the spring. Like I'm also not here near as much during the fall and spring. Like I have a flight I'm flying out of the city, if not the country, almost every week during the fall. Like every week, I probably have 30 flights scheduled for the fall. Just in a couple months. So I'm traveling a whole lot. I'm not here 24/7. And this is why it's also so important for me to have like the right people in place as we go into this, because, you know, I got to have people that I can count on. I got to have people that I can rely on. You know, there's nothing worse or a headache that you can have as a district manager when I'm leaving the city and then like things are going to shit basically at the office, right? Or like there's like I remember last year, last year I remember getting a call. I was in California and San Francisco for a mastermind event, and like I don't even know, it was something like, dude, like everyone got locked out of the office. Someone came in and locked every single door, and we don't have keys to these doors, so they locked that room, this door, every single door, so no one could get into any of the rooms in the office. And everyone called me freaking out. Anyways, things like that is why it's important to have the right group and a great group of people here in charge. There's something I hear as much, and last fall was, and I'll just tell you guys this too, like we really did, Metro Miami did not have a strong fall or spring last year. Actually, we had a very, very bad fall and spring last year. And I think we would have also had a bigger summer this summer if we had a stronger spring going into it. And that was caused by, I think, a lot of the people that were on the staff. And what happened there too. So it's really important that I find the right people for the job as we go into it too, because this summer is gonna be a little bit different. Just so you all know, the opportunity here is that every single one of these people you guys see on the board is leaving. Okay, literally every single person on here, okay, will not be on staff moving forward. Amy's gone, Jonathan's gone, Max Starkey's gone, Naomi's gone. Okay, the only people that will be here is number one, Alex Stanham, although I think he'll just be in a selling role. He was on staff last fall and spring, and I think as he's gearing up to prepare for his branch, he's going to be focusing on studies here and then just selling for some income around that. We'll probably have him just working on specific things that he needs to work on versus actually being on staff. The good news here, okay, is that Adrian Arredondo will be here. Just so you know, he not unenrolled from FSU, but he's basically spending 2 semesters down here to really, really gear up and set himself up for next summer. And so we can have a powerful fall and spring. So Adrian will really be kind of running the show and running the office, and that's one good thing is that no one's walking into it blind. Even when I'm not here, we'll still have someone that's full-time running, every asset of the office. So, last summer we had to promote a new Dom. So we went from Eddie to Escuevas, and then we had a new Dom in the fall as well. It's really important. I'll just say that I find the right people for this, because I'll just let you guys into some insight here. I went through 3 different DOMs in the fall. Went through 3 district office managers. That's a big part of why we had a lot of not success in the fall. Okay, because I had 3 people that I was counting on each time. I had to shift it and change things up. Okay, some of y'all might have been here. I don't know if everyone knows this. Some of y'all might have been here earlier on in the summertime, and also know we had a different DOM this summer. Okay, that was the same Dom that was running our office in the spring into the fall, and that person is I had to let go in the middle of the summer here, by the way, and that's when Adrian stepped up and took over charge of the office here too. So, and there's some things that I'll talk about of why that happened, I just think it's important that, again, we have the right people in place. So let's first talk about benefits, what you get being on staff here. In the fall. So number one, the first thing that I think about when I think about being part of the staff and your number one objective here should be just being the opportunity to get trained at the highest level. The opportunity to get trained at the highest level for what you're doing. First off, if you have plans on getting to TLA, if you are an aspiring branch or you want to see yourself in a leadership role here in our office for the summer, the fall is what sets that up. And there's other people that are outside of school and they're in different places. But, they might be in TLA, but they don't actually have a chance to practice and implement a lot of things they might learn in TLA. You really do when you're on staff in the fall and spring. And it's important for us to run a good office and to have some success. But, it's really an opportunity to make mistakes on my dollar, right, before you actually go up and open up your own office and the mistakes are on your dollar. Right, and it costs you money every single time you mess up versus right now when you're in the fall and spring, mess up, it costs me money. So, that's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to train at the highest level. It's an opportunity to actually implement and get skill set. It's one thing when you're in TLA and you're learning about running interviews and you've got a chance to hop into an office and run a couple interviews before you go out and open up a branch office. It's another thing when you ran 50 interviews in the fall. You ran 50 separate interviews of candidates and they came through and you already have that skill set developed. Right, when you do that, and some of y'all are graduating from high school, imagine you're graduating from high school and being able to go on interviews for things like that too, and you're going to your freshman year of college, and it's yeah, I probably ran more interviews than you have. The person that's sitting across from you interview you. That's a big deal, right? And so that's the third thing I think about is being able to get trained to the highest skill set. So I think both Cutco and non-Cutco. I think the actual the level of development that you'll get. I think about the opportunity to work up and close with me. I think about, like these are the people that I'm personally mentoring, coaching, talking to on a daily basis, and it's kind of like, again, this is like your opportunity to kind of separate yourself from the rest of the pack. Same way a lot of you all have from being a part of the 10K Alliance. It's like everyone's on a team, but y'all are the people I actually talk to every day. You're the people that I'm actually calling. You're all the people that I'm actually taking the phone calls from and able to help out and coach. So you get a little bit more of that, I think, in the fall and spring. It's a slightly different level. But you have the opportunity to train at the highest level. And I think if you want to be on if you want to be on staff in the fall, like that should be your number one objective. Your number one objective, should be to get high level, high training. There's some income and some financial perks of being on it. But really, if your primary objective is to make money in the fall and spring, like you should just go out and sell. That's the reality, is like you'll make more money just from selling, in my opinion. If you're actually 100% focused and committed on your selling the fall and spring, and like your number one objective is just make a lot of money, you just go out and sell. And by the way, that's not a bad thing. That will help out the office too. We need people to do that. We need people that are just stepping up and like, hey, dude, I don't have time to be on staff in the fall. I just want to make sure I'm supporting the office and like, around my school classes and just selling consistently throughout the fall and spring. That's a big part. And our assistant managers still do that, by the way. But, but you have an opportunity to train at the highest level and, really prepare and set yourself up probably for better opportunities. Like there's a ranking system in TLA. When y'all get accepted into TLA, it's not like, and that's one big thing too, is like some of y'all are fighting to get interviews right now. Some of y'all are definitely getting interviews, but you got to fight to earn your spot. And some of y'all probably, that are listening to this call are probably set up to earn a spot, but it's like, where are you being ranked? Right? Like there's going to be probably 100 people that get, to TLA, maybe across the division. And I don't know if that, maybe 100 people or so, including Puerto Rico. But there's only going to be probably, 15, 20 people that are running offices next summer and opening up offices, so it's like, where's your ranking? There's only going to be some people that are actually assistant managers, next summer too. So it's important to not just like get in, right? And so that's the point, is like some of y'all that have been working here all summer long, like not just get in, but like really like get in and like earn a spot and make a statement. That's what Jeff talks about all the time here too. And I think being part of the staff in the fall is a part of that. Second thing is financial perks. Okay. So, when you're on staff, you're making money. Just so you guys know how all our staff gets paid, they all make money off the office or overrides off the performance of our office and our sales. So we're compensated based on the performance. So how much money you actually make depends on two things. Number one, how well the actual office does. So if we sell 100K, during the fall, it's kind of pretty weak. Our goal will be probably 250K in the fall, and we should do at least $200,000. But I also don't want to underestimate. Last year we only sold like $100,000 for the fall. Okay, so obviously, as you guys know, compared to the summer, if you haven't noticed, it's a little bit slow. It's like we sell less. We're not going to sell $1 million in the fall, right? $250,000 is a pretty big fall for a staff or for an office too. So, which we can definitely do, but it's a little bit different. And so you make an override based off of how we're doing performing. Okay, and you also make a percentage off the office. The second thing that determines how much money you're making off the office is like the percentage, which is usually based on you're selected for a type of role. If you're a full-time AM, you're probably on a higher percentage. If you're a part-time AM, you're probably a slightly lower percentage. If you're a Dom, you're in a much higher percentage. Okay, and depending on your role, which is usually based on like the time and involvement that you actually have in the office, is what percentage you're actually making off the office, and overrides here too. Outside of that, you're getting coaching from me, and you're also usually leading the way with personal sales. Personal sales is still a strong aspect of being on staff for the fall. I'll talk about that in a second, but that's the number one way you can lead as an assistant manager, is just consistently selling, on a week-to-week basis. For instance, we have 7 people on staff. That should be $7K minimum on our sales report each and every single week. $1,000 a week is what we talk about here too. So again, I think being an opportunity to be trained to the highest level, there's definitely some financial perks and opportunities. Being on staff, you probably are going to be saving much more money. You can, put more money into your withholdings account. You can make more money throughout the fall and spring. But like I said, if you if your number one goal is to make money and you don't really care about training and developing a real meaningful skill set, or like bettering and leveling yourself up, then like your best opportunity is just go out and sell. Third thing, okay, is Jeff is here, by the way. When I originally opened up the office, Jeff wasn't always in Miami. Okay, he's only been here for like 9 months or so. Jeff lives in Midtown Miami now too. So this means being a part of the office, and Jeff is also going to, it's different year this year. Like I don't think Jeff set foot in his office last year in the fall and spring. You know, it just doesn't happen. As a divisional manager, your PSM or your DOM is really running the office, and you're kind of overseeing it. It's like another one of your district offices as a divisional manager. But I know Jeff is going to be a lot more involved. I know we're going to be doing things and linking up our offices. It just means Jeff's probably going to be here more often. If you're on staff, like every single person that will be on our staff, Jeff will know about. Every single person that what's going on with them and how to perform it, Jeff knows about. He hears and sees all that stuff. You know what I mean? So I think it's also just an opportunity to like kind of move up the radar, to move up your rankings. And like, that's also one of the biggest things that you can be doing now before then, because Jeff's also going to be determined like, all right, cool. Like approving our staff list. Like, yes, those people look good to go. You know, like I want Daniel Soderman, I want Carlin, I want, you know, whatever it is. Like he's part of that process here too. So you have an opportunity to make a statement to him. And you just get a lot more attention. You know, like there's the people in the TLA and there's the people that are actually on the Metro Miami staff, and they're getting more attention across the board from our division manager here. And the last thing, like I said, is skill set development. You know, if you have aspirations to branch, being on staff is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, okay? Because there's nothing that can really prepare you more than actually being in a cockpit. There's nothing like I heard the best quote from Eddie De Las Cuevas this summer, and Eddie, for those of you guys know, ran the Clearwater office. He used to in the summer, and he also ran my office. You know, and Eddie was a little bit frustrated with his results this summer based on his preparation. But I mean, now by the way, he's like Eddie is who in here has met Eddie before? All right, cool. Eddie's incredible. He does a million things. He ran for student body president at Florida State, lost by like 50 votes or something like that at the very end. Like that was like a full-time job. It was like campaign. It was crazy. Did that. Also opened up a branch office this summer. Also, you know, has a company called College Truckers, which literally they moved out like 700 students out of FSU, took all their like crazy stuff, and he's just doing all this, everything in marketing behind that. So he's running like 3 or 4 different companies and doing all this on the side. But one thing he was saying to me at the end of the summer was like, hey, you know, I'll tell you what, like nothing trains you for Cutco like selling like working at Cutco. Like nothing. There's nothing else better. And by the way, because like you know, a lot of times we focus on what's up. You were outside that whole time. So you have, I was like, where's he going? I was like, he must be having a demo when you walked in. You know, so you can read all the books you want, you listen to all the podcasts you want, you can work on yourself in person, develop yourself. And I think developing that stuff, by the way, I'm not bashing this stuff, I would highly recommend doing it. There's a reason why I have you guys listen to podcasts and things like that. But nothing's going to train you better to run a good Cutco office than actually being in an office. And not to mention too, by the way, like don't underestimate like the value that you get from being here. Y'all don't realize this, and I'm hoping that you might start to realize it at SC2. Like what you got here is special. This is not any normal Cutco office. You do not walk into other offices across the company and get this same type of experience and environment. Yes, you can from selling Cutco, but it's not the same. Okay, even Carlin and Rob came from our office too, right? And it's probably a little bit different than maybe what you were experiencing there. Okay. And guys, don't underestimate that too. Like the value that you can actually get from that. Like this office is very, very systemized and built out. Like we've got a lot of like things in place that other offices aren't doing. By the way, you know that Q app? We're like one of the only offices in the country that use it. Okay. And that was developed basically for us. Okay. So there's a lot of like things that happen in this office that I just think tee up. You know, people that come from this office go on to do like there's a reason our district team's winning right now. You know, there's a reason Alex and Rob are going to make a lot of money this summer. There's a reason that, you know, Eddie, like there's a reason that Eric Kloss was the number 8 branch in the company last year. Why, you know, we have 2 of the top new DMs in the company this year too. A lot of it's the training that you get, you know, being a part of this. And almost all those people were were working here in some capacity across the fall and spring. You know, Rob started with me in the fall and spring. Eddie worked with me throughout the fall and spring and summers for 2.5 years. You know, Eric Palacio worked with me on the fall and spring before he opened up his branch office as number 8, and then he opened up his district office too. So, you know, there's definitely just some value here that you can get from being here. And that's, I guess, what's up for grabs. Let's talk about what it looks like. Okay, so as far as schedules, and just starting off with, there are some standards and expectations that we have of you if you're an assistant manager. And these are 3 things that I would write down, okay? There's 3 things that you can do to be a good assistant manager. And this is, by the way, the same for our assistant manager. And if you look at our staff and you're like, that person's a good assistant manager, they're doing these 3 things, okay? These are the 3 things that we look for. Number 1 is high standard of sales performance. High standard of sales performance, okay? The best thing that you can do as the assistant manager is lead with your sales. That's the most important, one of the most important things. I don't know if it's the most important. They're all 3 important, okay? But, you know, there's nothing else you could do to impact the sales of the team outside of selling as an assistant manager, okay? That's what I'm saying is because, like, we should have a base, okay? Any week that we sell less than 10 grand in the fall is like a red flag. And we should have a base of like $7,000 every single week of the fall and spring, just coming from our assistant manager team, from their sales leadership. Okay, that should be happening on a consistent week-to-week basis. Is you sell $1,000 each and every single week as an assistant manager. I know that selling $1,000 for the week is nothing like crazy during the summertime, but that's like the standard expectation that you want to have, during the fall and spring is getting to that $1,000 each and every single week and finding a way to get there. That might mean one homemaker set, maybe 3 average orders or 5 small orders, throughout the week, but selling, because when you sell as an assistant manager, okay, number one, it actually, obviously it does impact the sales report because it counts for the sales report that we're selling for the week. But the other thing that happens too, okay, is an assistant manager job is not leadership by title. It's not leadership by authority. It's leadership by example. Okay. It's not some title that's given to you and now all of a sudden you're a leader. Okay. The opportunity to be assistant manager is the opportunity to lead by example. Okay. And when you can't underestimate and doubt, like, let me just ask you all, when y'all see the assistant managers up there crushing it every single week, what does it make you want to go do? Yeah, go out and sell more. Okay, if all our assistant managers were eating crap the whole entire time, you would feel you would be less motivated. Okay, it's like they are setting the leader and the example. Speed of the leader is always the speed of the pack. Okay, whatever the leaders are doing will set the tone for what everyone else is doing. That's one reason why it's important. Okay, you can't expect the whole entire sales team to step up and lead when like the assistant managers don't really do anything. Okay, and they're not leading with their sales. So that's the first thing is selling. There's no other way you can do that because when you go out and you lead as assistant manager, other people watch and see what you're doing. Every assistant manager has a mini team from the fall and spring. It's not as big as the mini teams we have now, but in the fall and spring, it's a lot more involved, I think, than just the mini teams right now. Like you might have like 4 to 5 people that you're personally coaching, you're personally mentoring, you're helping. And in the fall and spring, like I said, things are a little bit slower and different here. And let me actually make sure I'll go over the schedule here in a second. So selling's the first thing. Okay. The second thing, okay, that's really, really important is recruiting. Okay. I'll just put recruiting in general. It's sales leadership and recruiting. Sales leadership and recruiting. So there's 2 things that go into recruiting. Number 1 is getting your personal PRs on the team. Those are the 2 foundations of being a good assistant manager, by the way. It's sales leadership and being a team builder. Getting personal recruits on the team. Okay, one of the reasons that I don't think we got off to the summer that we wanted to is because some of our assistant managers didn't do a good job of this. Some of them did a really great job of this. Okay, in fact, by the way, over probably the majority, and this is like really crazy to think about, the majority of you are sitting here right now because of one of our assistant managers. Even though they did not directly recommend you, someone that they recommended or recommended is why you're sitting here now. Okay, like half y'all, if I like show you like who recommended you, like Dario, who did you see a post from? From someone. Okay, and by the way, some of you guys are sitting here because of Dario, right? And I'm pretty sure Dario, you saw a post from one of our assistant managers that got someone else to post. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's how that happened, by the way. So the point is though, like your personal PRs, like that's one of the other big things that you can do to impact the team is getting people on here to like replace yourself and to have someone else that like, hey, can do just as well as you are. Right, that's one of the biggest things too, because it's not just it's not just that person's results, but it's the rest of like the networks that they tap us into, the rest of the people that they're able to bring on the team. You get a couple of leaders. If every assistant manager, that's the thing, every assistant manager gets 2 friends that start working in the office. 14 people, they all get in 2 friends. Like they're like that's our 250K fall, right? As every assistant manager does that, it's game over. So leading with that part of recruiting. The other part that goes into recruiting, okay, is this is just every single assistant manager, they set PRs each and every single week. Okay, during the summer, we're setting up, Adrian sets up 30 PR. You guys know what a PR is? Personal recruit. Y'all have all probably heard assistant managers call in personal recruits beforehand. There's like a script for it too. It's the same thing. It's a skill set you learn. It's a really good skill set to have. You'll get a lot better at the phones when you get that good at calling PRs. And it's not crazy during the fall and spring either. Like, our assistant managers now, Adrian sets 30 PRs up per week. Naomi sets up 25 PRs per week. Jonathan sets up 20. Every other assistant manager sets up 5. Okay, if you're a part-time, 15. If you're a part-time assistant manager in the fall, set up 5 PRs a week. Full-time, it's usually somewhere between 10 to 15 PRs a week. Right, Dom is probably 15 to 20 PRs a week, which is really like not as crazy at all, but it's still a standard and something you want to get good at too. And again, just one of those fundamental skills that like I can't tell you, how tough it is for some branches to go out there when they've only set up, they've got the scripts, they've done it a couple of times, but they haven't had practice and experience calling PRs and like setting them up and actually getting the skill set on how to do it. And it's just a good skill set to have. Being a good recruiter is one of the best things that's one of the skills that I talk about of being in the staff in fall and spring is like you learn leadership skills and you learn recruiting skills, which are two fundamental skills to have in any business ever. If you know how to lead, if you know how to recruit, you become a valuable asset to any company at any place, no matter what. So that's one big thing. So it's, recruiting goes into getting your friends, personal PRs in the team. And by the way, like I literally, someone could suck. Just be so bad at running the office. Someone could be terrible at running interviews. Someone could be terrible at setting PRs. Someone could be terrible at almost everything that we do in the office, all fall and all spring long. But if they can sell and they can get friends on the team, I'll have them on staff every day of the year. Okay, and I'm serious when I say that because those are two big things that impact a lot. Right. So that's the biggest things that I focus on. But then you also got the other skill sets of like, so there's PRs and then like not every single person on staff, every person will eventually have the opportunity to by the end of the fall, but certain people usually just are full-time assistant managers. Everyone eventually will just because being part of TLA, you're going to eventually learn how to run some interviews. But we'll have probably a couple people, Adrian, and then 2 or 3 other people that will be running interviews. For people on a weekly basis too. And that's just, it's just, again, it is fun, especially your first one. I literally saw the photo of when I ran my first interview here in Fort Lauderdale. I look so silly. But you get to learn that skill set too. So those are so selling, so high standards of sales performance, recruiting, getting personal PRs and teams, setting your PRs, run interviews if you do that. And the last thing is just running the office, which, really breaks down to like, mostly, just managing your mini teams and managing people that you're coaching and leading. So that's, I guess, the standards for it. Okay, I'm going to open up for some Q&A here at the end. As far as schedule goes, okay, here's what you guys need to know about schedule. The fall is nothing like the summer. Okay, the fall and spring are a lot. I don't think there's literally ever anyone here at 8 a.m. during the fall. Okay, we don't even open up the office most days till like noon, 1, 2 o'clock, a lot of days, right? It's a different schedule, and it's not near as crazy as the summer is. Okay, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a walk in the park. Like it's not like you don't work. It's just, compared to the summer, it's like literally so significantly less. But it still seems like a good amount of work because most of y'all are students and you're working at around school, right? So it still is a commitment. There still is a level of time commitment around it, and it's not like a cakewalk. You know what I mean? Where it's just like not hard. Like some of our DOMs like they couldn't do it last year because they couldn't have a schedule around school. And that's why, by the way, too, I'm not having like it's different because I don't have anyone being a DOM, and running this like full time around school. So again, it is just so in terms of all y'all, because I know every single person here right now is a student. Is that correct? All right, cool. Maybe some people listen to this. I'm not sure if they are. It is something that you can, I designed it so that you're able to do it, around your classes, around school, and it's not something that's overwhelming. Depending on your level of schoolwork or school load, will depend too what type of assistant manager you are. Yeah, question? Can you get a pen? Sports, yeah, exactly, too. So you have sports and stuff like that, too. Yeah, and again, so it goes into schedule, okay? So there's different types of assistant managers. We have full-time assistant managers and part-time assistant managers, and then we have our AMIs. Okay, full-time, part-time, AMIs. And I write that down here. And then we have our DOM. Okay, but no one here will be DOM in the fall because Adrian will be. Full-time, part-time, and AMIs. Okay, so, for instance, Sundays, we're not here at 1 o'clock. Usually, we're here usually 1 o'clock. Either our staff is here at 1 o'clock all Sunday long, during the summertime. We usually get into the office around 4 p.m. on Sundays. Okay, so Sundays and Wednesdays are just normal for the job, right? So that's just you're still here as an assistant manager Sundays and Wednesdays, just like you would be as a sales rep. You do a little bit more assistant manager duties in the time that you are here. So it's not just straight up phone calling, you are helping managing and running the office. So Sundays and Wednesdays, and then usually what it looks like in terms of schedule, a part-time AM is usually in, 1 day of the week outside of Wednesday and Sunday. Something like that day, maybe a day and a half. A full-time AM is in, 2 to 2.5 days out of the week outside of Wednesday, and sometimes or outside of Wednesday, Sunday. Sometimes, by the way, like, one of those days is like still Wednesday, but you're coming earlier than everyone else is, and you're doing stuff at the office before everyone else gets there, and that's like a day for you. Yeah, so that's the first thing I'll be looking at here too. What'd you sell? All right.
Yes, sir.
How many recs?
Sponsor, our neighbor's moving in. Gonna see her, try to see for Thursday. And she's like calling through. We tried to leave Froggy with credit, so she's calling through.
Cool. You got a sponsor?
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Hold the free stuff though.
Nice. Not bad for first time in like a year. Let's see here. Where was I going with this? What was the last thing I said here? John's active trying to here. All right, yeah. 2 to 2.5 days a week is a full-time assistant manager, and I was gonna say something. I completely lost my train of thought when I drank it. Anyone know what I was gonna say? Yeah. I don't even know. Okay. So, and I'm going to talk to you guys about school schedule here in a second, about like what you would want to line up as your school schedule here. Everyone will have different responsibilities. One big thing that happens in the fall and spring too is something called active advertising. Do any of y'all know what that is? Okay. We don't do it all during the summertime. We do it every day during the fall and spring. Mostly at the beginning of the semester and at the end of the semesters. It's September to like mid-October heavy. And then, the end of December and January, like kicking off the spring and then ending the winter as we go into the winter break. And we do active advertising. So we are on a campus every single morning, early in the morning, at either University of Miami, Miami-Dade, or FIU. We're on one of those campuses just about every single day doing active advertising for that day. And so what we do there, by the way, is we go out there, we poster the entire campus. And this is, again, just good skill sets. Like y'all learn the skill of like active advertising well. Like, you ever want to start a business, you'll know how to instantaneously. Like that's literally Eddie was like all of his campaign things I did for campaigning were all like the things he learned at Cutco inside too. Yeah, it's literally active ad 2.0. But it's going out. So we will literally go to a campus. We'll bring, some days it's smaller, might be just 2 or 3 people there, or 1 or 2 people. Other days, like the beginning of the semester, we'll have like as many people there every single morning. We'll have like not just us, like the whole team comes out. We all do active ad on campus. We'll have like 8, 9, 10 people. Other district managers come out to like a single campus. We have like a schedule for each week, and we'll go out there and we'll hit campus hard from like 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Usually is like the schedule what we'll do it from that day. And Jonathan, can you? Is he still closing that same one? Yeah. So he's following up with it.
He's there right now.
Okay, perfect. All right, close it out. All right. This has been like 4 days, yeah. But we do that, and we put up posters, we hand out cards, we do clipboards and stuff like that too. That's a lot of like how the recruit, like that's one of our biggest recruiting tools in the fall and spring is after that. We don't do it during the summer because barely anyone's on campus, and it's like better for us to just be here sending out messages than it is, for us to be on campus. So active ad, so like for instance, usually I'll put one person in charge of active ad. Right, so I'll have one person that's like, hey, our active ad head person, like they're in charge of like overseeing all the active ad each and every single week, right? So like for instance, there's different types of schedules. So I might have one person that doesn't do any days in the office outside of Wednesdays and Sundays, but they do active ad every single morning, right? So they just kick off our campus each and every single day and split it too. And again, it's a little bit depends on like your school schedule availability. So if you're who's in high school? Okay, so. Y'all, I'm just letting you all know right now, the opportunity to become a full-time assistant manager is probably not as high just because your school schedule means you're unavailable to do pretty much every active ad session. You're also unavailable till like 3 o'clock each day. And then a lot of y'all have sports and extra stuff on top of that. Okay, so usually it depends on your schedule and we can talk about it. Okay, but usually you end up being like, if you're in high school and you want to be on staff, it's usually more of a part-time role, which is still a good role. If you're in college, it usually opens you up to get some other ones, and again, we're out certain people like interviews. In terms of schedule, okay, I would, before you pick out fall classes, anyone already picked out the fall classes? All right, cool. Have you picked them out yet, Daniel? Have you picked out fall classes yet, Dara?
Nope.
Okay, so I would recommend sitting down with me if you're interested in being on staff, because there's definitely like better times to have classes than others. Okay, to like actually say, like one person I remember last year wanted to be on staff really, really, really bad, and then they like had like the worst schedule in the entire world. Where I was like, yeah, like I don't think you can help out with anything. It's like every time there's something you could help out with, like that's when all your classes are. Okay, so doing things, for instance, like I can tell you just off the top of my head, if you're in college classes, the best time for y'all to probably have classes is like 10, like a 10 a.m. to like 1 p.m. kind of deal. Because then you could be available for active ed if we need you, and then not like almost everything happens in the afternoons and evenings in the fall office. Because again, we're working with mostly students, so most of those people are unavailable during the day. So there's really like barely any, little to nothing going on in the offices most days between like 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on certain days. I would avoid like Wednesday team meetings. You might want to think about like that's another big one here too. So those are the things I'd be looking at too. So like 10 to 2 is probably your prime time to try to line up most of your classes here, in my opinion, is what I'd be looking for. Other big thing is, or the other way to do it, okay, and again, this kind of depends. This is why it's sometimes important to coordinate on who's running what. We might have certain people on certain days. So for instance, like I might have, a Daniel Sotomayor on a Tuesday, Thursday. I might have a Dario in on like a Monday, Wednesday, right? So it's like kind of coordinating your classes. The other good thing you can do classes, like you have like little chunks from like 10 to 2 every day, or you have 2 days of the week and you stack like almost all your classes on those days, right? So you have like the other days almost off. And you try, like, you can't always do that depending on the classes that you need to take, right? If you're already like pretty high into your major, you have less flexibility of like when the times are that you have your classes. If you're a freshman, you can pretty much easily do this. And by the way, I would highly recommend it too, just because like if you're in college, like setting up your schedule can make your life a lot better and a lot easier here. It's way better because then you have like if you can get all Monday, Wednesday classes, you stack up Monday, you stack up Wednesday, then you have Tuesday, and you have a 4-day weekend every single weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you go to Monday and Wednesday, and you just have full days of classes that day. Or maybe you have like one small class on a Tuesday and Thursday from like 10 to 2, and most of your classes on Mondays and Wednesdays before like 4 p.m. or something like that too. Those are examples of like some schedules that I was like trying to be set up. I'll open up questions about schedules and stuff like that too here. Here's the last thing I'll do, okay, before I wrap this up here. What I need to see from people, and this is like what I give you guys as standards, this is like what I look for people in staff, okay? The person, in my opinion, is a lot more important than the skill set or your career sales. Okay, the person that's looking for is a lot more important than like your personal sales or your career sales or your skill set or even how long you've been here, right? I look at like the actual quality of the person, so the first things that I would look for that I write down, I write these words down. If you want to know how to work with me well, I write this down as TRA. TRA. Trust, respect, accountability. Trust, respect, accountability. Okay. When I told y'all I went through people on staff, okay, I have fired people on staff before. Usually when you step in a leadership position, you don't just like no longer be on staff. Like usually you're just going out. Okay, just no longer here in our office. When I've had to do that, it's usually not because you're bad at selling or you're bad at making PR calls or you're not meeting the minimum standards. It's usually because it's one of these 3 things: trust, respect, accountability. Okay, so these are the most important things. Is that like, okay, number 1 is like trust. Like I just gotta be able to trust you. Like that, just so y'all know too, just how to work with me better. Like the most important thing to me, I sell this people right when they walk in your training. I don't care if you tell me, Andrew, I'm only doing 5 demos a week, or you tell me I'm doing 20 demos a week. All I care is that if you tell me you're going to do something, that you follow through with it, and you're a man and a woman of your word, right? I need to be able to trust you. I need to be able to count on you. I have like a very, very low tolerance. I'll just let you guys know right now. I trust people really, really easily. Okay, I usually just take what people say at face value, and I just trust them. I don't question it. I don't really usually try to give people a hard time. I usually just trust people. That's like my natural who I am. I am very, very, very positive, and I usually assume the best in people, the people that have the best intentions, and I believe in people a lot. That's just who I am, and I to be honest, I'd rather be that than be the opposite. Okay, but what comes along with that too is it's like very, very easy for people to kind of manipulate that. Right. And that's why I'm saying I have like a very, 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 very low tolerance for it. So like if I know that like you told me something and like you just lied to me or something like that, or trust me, like it's not even a question. You're gone. I can't afford to. I don't want to have to be like questioning, people on like whether or not like what they told me is true, or whether or not I can really count on them to be something like that too. Like I just don't have time to like have the headaches, and like I don't want to be like badgering my staff because I don't believe what they're telling me or something like that too. So that's the biggest thing too is trust. Is like you mess up, like let me know. You did a good job, let me know. Whatever it is, just like honesty is the most important thing. Trust, respect. Respect is being respectful, being like, like I think two things going on there. Being on time is part of being respectful. Like when you're late to something, it shows that like you also like you don't respect my time. You don't respect your time either, but you also don't respect my time if you're late to a meeting with me or late to something I was counting on you or like something like that too. It just means like, hey, it's a lack of respect. It's usually what it is, right? So just respectful in the way that you communicate, respectful in the way that you lead others, respectful to the rest of the staff, right? Being someone that like if you're like the thorn, you're only as strong as your weakest link. Like I've done this long enough where I've worked with many different staffs, fall, spring, summer, right? And it's very, very easy for one person to just be a thorn and just to be a leech and just destroy one person single-handedly destroy the whole entire office. I'm not even joking when I say that. One bad person on the staff can single-handedly destroy everything, the whole entire office sales for that campaign, because one person becomes a problem for everyone else in staff, and if everyone else in staff can't work and operate together, the whole office doesn't run. So respect. Last thing is just accountability. Like being able, when you're in a position of leadership, like you can't be late to an interview. Like you can't be late to training somebody. You can't be, you can't forget, or mom told me I couldn't go to the office today, and like there's 15 people showing up that you are interviewing them, right? Like you can't be like in charge of the active ad shift and other sales representatives are going there to meet you there and you missed your alarm or forgot to wake up. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're in a position of leadership now. There's like more there's more that's required for you to be accountable to. There's nothing worse, like I said, than me being out of town and me just knowing like I can't really count on someone. It's like I don't know. I'm not confident in being able to say like I don't even know if that person's gonna show up. And by the way, here's one thing I'll tell you guys too. This is why it's important for by the way, everything that you're doing, I'll just tell you guys this right now. Everything you do is an interview. Everything you do is an interview. Like this push, it's an interview for TLA, just so y'all know. I talk to Jeff almost every single day. He knows what's going on. He knows he knows how people are showing up. Not the results, but the actions are a lot more important than anything else. When you show up to SE2, okay, there's always we have one conference at the end of the year at COC. Okay, people get into TLA. That's when they do the TLA acceptances. Every year, there's one person. One person from the division that gets into TLA Friday night, and they're not in TLA by Saturday. Okay, just based on how they carry themselves later on that night. Everything's an interview. Okay, so and that's what I'm saying too is like how you guys are showing up here too. Like trust me, like I'm keeping track. Like I'm taking mental notes. When I know people like, hey, this person's really good, and they always follow through with what they say they're doing. I can really count on that person. Or like this person like always has an excuse to why they're late or why they're not on time or whatever else is going on too. And again, like everyone makes mistakes. Everyone's human. Adrian came late to an alliance meeting the other day. But like it's one thing like when like I'll just give you guys an example. Like this is I actually there was a Monday this summer, okay, and I literally I don't know what happened. I had I went to bed at like a reasonable time. I was fine. I was ready to rock and roll for the next day, and I had to be here at like 7:30. I was waking up at 5:30 a.m. I didn't wake up till like 10:30, 11 o'clock. Literally, it was a Monday. There was advanced training going on. I didn't get to the office till like noon almost, right? And I was running training. I was running another meeting. I was running different workshops. Like I had meetings scheduled the whole entire morning. Okay, I have no idea what happened to this day. It like blows my mind. Okay, because also like I wake up at 5:30, so like if I'm late, I'm waking up at like 8 o'clock. Like I'm just automatically like I have the lights on in my room, like the light shine on my face from like the city and like or from the sun coming up, and like even my alarm just didn't go up or something like that happened, like I'm still be like my biological clock is at 8 a.m. So anyways, I have no idea how it happened. The point that I'm making with this though is when that happened, no people's stats, on our staff, we're not like, oh, Andrew's probably late again. He's always late. People's stats were literally like they were about to call the police and they were sending people out there to my literally there. I got woken up by my girlfriend. I go up to like 50 missed calls from my girlfriend, like 100 missed calls from other people. Like people were knocking on my door to literally check to make sure I was still alive and breathing. Okay, because people were like, yo, This is not like him. I don't know what the hell's happening. He hasn't answered her phone. Like, maybe he died. Okay. And like, that was, I'm joking about it. Like, Naomi was in tears in the office. Okay. Like, literally. Yeah. Andrew was out there, like, he's like, Jonathan, you're going to run advanced training. I'm going to drive over to Andrew's house. Okay. It was crazy. I woke up, I was like, what the hell's going on? Anyways, but the point is, the reason I share that with y'all, okay, is because, like, you know, it's, again, like, that's what should happen. Like, that's when you know you're a person that's accountable and a point with what you say you're going to do. Right. I'm not showing myself on pedestal, but like, that's the same way with certain people on our staff. And there's, you know, certain people where, like, if they didn't get text from until 11 a.m., my first thought would be like, well, they probably just slept in again and missed their alarms. They probably just did this. They probably just, all right, cool, they're going to be late again. Like, not even a second thought. My thought's not like, did something happen to this person? There's something wrong. I wonder if, like, something went happen. It's just like, well, that's classic. You know, we'll see it again. So again, like, your reputation precedes you. And I would be like, that's something I would just be thinking about as you finish off the rest of the summer here with louder and pointed things. And the biggest thing too is, again, the point I was getting at this is, like, everyone makes mistakes. You know, it's just like, how often do you make mistakes? How, like, everyone has times, like, no one's perfect, right? But it's like, what's like the usual trend? Last few things here. Yeah, and the last thing is just do your best. You know, that's all I ever ask. I don't ask people to be perfect. I don't ask people to be crazy. I don't ask people, you know, a lot of y'all are students. I don't ask anyone that, you know, the Cutco office is their number one priority. I don't even expect it to be, you know, in the fall or spring too. I realize that for most people, school is their number one priority. But I just ask that, you know, if you're doing something, you do your best, right? That's always what I ask of. That's the most important thing to me. So, let's do this, okay? I'm going to open up to some Q&A here in a second. I know some of y'all have appointments to get off to. Here's what I need to do following this meeting, okay? Number one, if this is something that you're interested in being a part of, by the way, okay, this is not like, I'm not trying to, like, recruit anybody for this or anything like that too. Like, again, I want people that are interested and want to be here. You know, so if this is something you're interested in, what I would do is I would, number one, when you leave this meeting, 3 things you want to text me. Number one is a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, what's your interest level at? And, like, why? You know, scale 1 to 10, what's your interest level like? Why are you interested in it? All that good stuff. And again, by the way, don't just, like, say 10 if you're not really interested. like it's cool. You could literally tell me, like, 1, I think I just want to sell. Right, cool, awesome. Like I said, we need people like that. You know, like, but 1 to 10, like, what is your interest level and what, you know, why? Second thing is, what position, you know, would be exciting or interesting to you? Like, would it be like, hey, I want to take, like, a full-time, like, I want to have a serious leadership role in the office this fall and spring. Is it, hey, Andrew, like, I'd be interested in that, but I also know my schedule is going to be tight. So maybe, you know, part-time assistant manager would make more sense. Maybe it's AMI, which, by the way, AMI is just like a part-time assistant manager, which means usually AMI is like, you're literally probably helping out with the active ad shift here or there. You don't have a day in the office. You're just here on Wednesdays and Sundays and then doing some more managerial work while you're here. Although, yeah, it's more so for skill set development because you don't get paid off the office as an AMI. And so what position? And then third thing is just, do you have any questions? Do you have any questions or want the perspective on anything specifically? If you have any one questions, you can text me those. I can follow up with you. So, but I will open up some questions now because I'm sure if you all have some questions, probably everyone else does. And then we can finish this off here. So any questions on anything at all? Sure.
So if you want to be in the staff, you have to come at least every Sunday, right? Like part-time, full-time?
Generally speaking, I mean, and again, the reality is that everything's flexible, you know what I mean? And just, we got to create a different game plan and stuff like that too, you know? Like what's your specific situation?
Oh, I just already like plan out my schedule.
Okay. Yeah. Usually in general, like we run the same things. We have, you know, team meetings on Wednesday nights, phone jam and PSPs on Sundays. PSPs are a little bit more in depth in the summertime, by the way. It's like, you know, and this is like you as a manager do PSPs with some of the reps. You know, like some of y'all, like our PSPs are like, all right, cool, let me see your sheet. Like, last sets of weeks, good, cool, you should probably work on this. Here you go. Okay. During the fall and spring, like with reps, it's a little bit more like, okay, let's plan out your school schedule for the week. When are you studying? When are you doing this? When are you doing this? Okay, when are your appointment time? Okay, here's what you need to do. All right, cool, here's the goals. Here's hop on the phones. Like, it's a lot more like, it's a little more in depth. That happens too. And that's for you all and also just for reps that we'll be working with. But yeah, it's usually we're here Wednesdays, Sundays. And again, like everything is, flexible up to a degree. It'd probably be like hard to be a leader in the office if you weren't here on Wednesdays and Sundays, and or also just keep the job in general. But like I said, I have one-on-one agreements with lots of people. So, other questions?
Well, this is not really like a question. I just wanted to plan out my schedule. I think that's really critical. If I have time at school,
Yep.
and by the time I'll just be ready to have
You're going to high school or you're going to college?
high school.
Cool. Senior year?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let's do this.
Yeah. Skip Monday through Friday. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
When do you decide who becomes mayor?
Good question. The official acceptances will happen at COC. Okay. At the last conference of summer, which is the same conference that TLA acceptances will be at. And I believe it's August 16th and 17th. It's Thursday, Friday.
Where is it?
It's in Fort Lauderdale.
Last year was so 16.
Yeah. So in Fort Lauderdale. It's not too far from us.
Yeah.
We got lucky with this one. we only have one Cape Coral conference this summer and then one Atlanta. But yeah, usually it'll probably be at COC, and there's a chance that I might accept some full-time assistant managers a little bit earlier than COC and announce it to the team, potentially, just because we got to get some people kind of trained and prepared here, and I might not want to wait till then. Rob, you want to be on the staffing call?
Gotta go back.
Any other questions? Cool. I'm going to end this meeting here. So we have this ready to roll.